Luckily, the light's kind to my head.
Can we get these stage lights on? Is this part of the act?
Still waiting on these guys. They're having if difficulties of their own now.
Tell a joke.
I don't know any good jokes.
Tell a bad joke.
Tell a bad joke.
I knew once somebody told me one about a cat, why it went halfway across the road. Does anybody know the answer to that? I forget. Yeah, see, you asked for a bad joke, you got one. Where's my Guinness? We're gonna do karaoke after this.
You can do it now if you want. What do you think?
Queen? Bohemian Rhapsody, that's probably one I would actually do if I was able to drink right now. We good?
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, we've covered Johnny and Babs. We're good with that. It's not necessarily how I'm going to hack your organization. It's kind of like how you're probably already owned. The presentation basically is a demonstration. It's a proof of concept. I'm not here to reveal any exploits or new zero-day code or voodoo. I'm just kind of connecting the dots. I'm painting a picture of what I've been seeing. So we'll go to the next slide. Oh, big thought. Requires even more technical. Says it's on. Oh shit, it just went like 3 slides ahead. Shit. Alright, so that's my safety tip. This is not how to leave a con.
What did you do to get that way?
I can't disclose that, but you know, the basic principle is if you get to the clerk at the airport check-in, and then they say, or you ask to have your blood pressure taken because your feet are all swollen up in your hands, and then you start having chest pains, don't fly. So apparently they don't like people dying at 30,000 feet. So, I need to go back a slide now.
Just try your arrow.
Oh, it slides. This is gonna be fun. I need a tech support for a Mac. I need a clicker. Anyone? Nobody wants to stand up here with me? No, just.
I'm up. Keep your tongue up. Try to get the computer to do what it's supposed to do.
The problem is there's 3 screens going on right now, thanks to Mac. So I need the next slide, which is that one. I got a clicker. It was cheap too. Alright, so my 8-year-old wanted to watch Daddy talk because I've been teaching her some exploits and how to use some tools, and I can't cuss, so I'm going to censor myself. I luckily got some of the cuss words out of the way already, and I'm already censored myself. So no cussing from at least the microphone. Next slide, we can skip past that. I didn't die. Who the hell is Razoreqx? My actual name was Razor. I used that name. The EQX is completely meaningless. Started out as a military Army guy back in the 80s. Did a couple tours in Honduras, Reagan's war on drugs. Moved on to, thank you, moved on to a cracker. I don't know how old you guys are, if you remember what a cracker was. That was a really cool title to have. Yeah, it was an awesome title to have. And then I found out later in an Urban Dictionary that it actually means something else now. I'm not a cracker anymore. No, back to the other slide. We got the rest of that, right? Yeah, network guy, firewall guy, hacker. I got so many Cisco certifications I could wipe my ass for a year. OSCP certification, anybody do that with defensive security, offensive security, sorry. Highly recommended, CEH, ethical hacker, and we can move on. That's my diploma from college. Anybody know what that is? Wow, flying stairs. What is it?
Soft ice.
Soft ice. What did soft ice do?
Stuff.
Stuff, that's right. I did some stuff. I didn't really know exactly what assembly was. I've been accused that I'm not an assembly guy, but I did enough to where I could actually crack some stuff. All right. All right, here's actually where it started. About 3-4 years ago, I found a site called VirusTotal. Started working with a lot of researchers, different malware, I mean, you name it, across the gamut. They were doing deep dive, debugging. Back then, MD5s were zeroed in. I got a new MD5, I'm the lead. Then came along actually XOR and obfuscation, URLs, packers. It got a little more difficult, but people were still posting stuff on VirusTotal. User, this is very bad. That was our community score. So I mean, it wasn't a lot of big help for the actual user. It's still a great tool. It's a great site. Obviously, it's still there. Why is my mouse moving all by itself? Who's hacking me? I need my slide. My notes. So through the use of VirusTotal, I actually started doing some social engineering of my own. I got on Malwarebytes, became one of like 27 malware hunters, which actually gives you access to all of their malware submissions. So started getting more and more samples, was able to look at more code. And at the same time, started meeting people on VirusTotal that were, we clicked. We started forming a community. And started actually posting information in the community about actual URLs, the full disclosures of how the exploits were working. And next slide. How do I do it? That's eventually what we started doing. So we were actually posting stuff minus the animation, but we started working on this code, started looking mostly at the kits themselves, not necessarily the payloads, but as XOR and some of the other obfuscation techniques came into play, it became harder and harder to actually find out what these kits were, what we were dealing with. So, I mean, it was funny, you could actually change an icon with a little pixel, and the MD5 changes and you got a new piece of malware. So, we wanted to take it to the next level. So the community, how do I get to the next slide? Click on that little arrow. Did you use 2 fingers?
I thought I actually was, never mind, I was trying to be cute. Let me do it, I'm sorry. Click on this little arrow.
Yeah.
Boy.
Wow, that's awesome.
So can I go sit down now?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Enjoy yourself, and thank you very much. Everyone, hand for my clicker. And his musical talent. So, the community,
You're back to the front slide again.
I didn't even touch anything. I'm just standing here.
You keep talking, I'll make it go. Keep going. Keep going.
Oh, so we basically found a few of us that, we really enjoyed each other's research. We started blogging, communicating back and forth through forums, and actually the next slide. And eventually formed our own group under Adrian Hendricks, which is from 0 Day Japan, a group called Malware Must Die. And we put up a blog. We started actually looking at binary and exploit kits, and we started doing full disclosures first on Twitter and on our forums. Gaining a lot of recognition here lately. We're actually, a few of the core members are speaking at BotConf this year, and so we're moving right along with our work. And this is the latest kit we've been tracking is the Helios botnet, and we started looking at how this bot worked and built various scripts to actually figure out the algorithms that they use, the engine, how the communication works. You can actually find it on malwaremustdie.org, the full research of how it worked. And we started tracking it, so just click right there, right? See? Ah, pretty good. I was going to do the live demo, but basically what this is, it's just an IRC dome. There's a bot that's actually communicating as it does its scans. It pulls all the infected sites, all the URLs, basically all their C2 or their infected hosts. Then we run another engine that actually collects this. It awks out all the different IP addresses, the domains, and then packages that up into an email, and we send it to various organizations like ICANN, US CERT, and anybody else that probably wants a copy of this. So we don't get a lot of feedback, but hopefully our service has been well, delivered. What we found is that this botnet actually could be used potentially for denial of service attacks. It's carried RedKit. These malware authors are cross-pollinating. They're communicating because they're lazy and they like getting other people's work. So, they'll say, hey, I've got a 0 day, okay, let me use your botnet. They'll flip-flop over, and next thing you know, you've got a new spread of what you guys are seeing in spam every day in your email. I'm going to try this on my own this time. Hello. There's the URL to the work, basically describing what they're doing, what we're doing on that. And we're actually looking at doing this with other botnets and other kits. If you look at malware, it all has a unique, what you would call URL or type of flux. There's patterns that you can key off of to actually track these types of kits. So we're going to spread that out to just more. But in regards to your organization, some of the things to think about are you're faced with an issue every day. It's called too many tools and not enough analysts. You may have tools working with tools. So, here you're throwing all this intelligence, all this research, you're pulling in, all the CERT information, you're pulling in open source intelligence. You just can't keep up with all the information. Nobody can regurgitate this and get it into their mitigation tools. We're completely inundated as companies. So what happens? Try this again. Silver bullet. Vendor comes into your company. Probably, we're not most of us in here are probably not decision makers. We can recommend what tools we like. But in reality, somebody else is making decisions, and they may or may not have the knowledge that we have as far as what tools would really be helpful. But the sales guy basically tells him that this is going to stop everything. Your malware problems, your spam, everything is going to go away. And in reality, it's just another tool. So in your environment now, you have another tool shows up in pallets, and you're again, more information. So everybody feels safe, right? We're happy, and we're defended. Nothing can get through our perimeter now. So we've got the next slide here. How they get your information. This is not news. Find my notes. You've got basically passive information gathering. This would be what's known in a kill chain, or the cyber kill chain, as a reconnaissance. Social media is a great source for profiling people. With tools like Multigo, I can build a complete organization chart from your company, find out who's closest to the data that I want to get to. There's passive information gathering, semi-passive, and active. What are they looking for? They're looking for your business partners, who your clients are, who your competitors are, what products do you use. And basically this whole talk, all the description of what I just said about malware was to quantify how I can talk now, at least with some intelligence, to this piece of the talk. So again, they're after meetings, job openings, that's a key, charity, probate court records, political donations, registrars, local establishments in your area, things that they can use to actually further know your employees and typically how they can social engineer more information out of them. The main assessment here is the human capability. They really want to know, what your employees are going to or not say. A couple of the job sites that we've used are Bait.com, Monster, Career Builder, LinkedIn, obviously.
Bait.com?
It's BAYT.com.
Wow, thank you.
I just read a white paper not too long ago from Robin Shaw, I think I'm saying that right, Social Engineering a Hacking Story. He basically went through the whole process of what I just described using various tools like Creeper and Maltego, a lot of open source type tools. And he was able to actually find his target, create a job and a fake site. He sent him a email basically saying, I've got this position, it's a work from home position, with the starting salary is $150,000. If you're interested in this, send us your resume, we'll take a look at you. So he did. So what's your resume say? Everything. I mean, if you're going to brag about every tool you've worked with, every organization, oh yeah, man, I did checkpoint firewalls, and I mean, they cover it all. So now he's got all this information, he's got phone numbers, you got more people that report to him, because he's got the references. So you may have some family members, I mean, great stuff, I love them. And then he basically goes in to talk about SOCNet, which is social networking profiling, metadata leakage, tone and frequency, location awareness, and social media presence, big key. So he built out an org chart, and that's critically or commonly what the adversary is going to do. So we're really not talking about malware now, we're talking about something even worse, is something targeted. Somebody's really wanting to get into your organization. And you don't have to raise your hand, but how many people have actually completely stopped malware on a day-to-day basis? No infections in your environment. Yeah. It's because you don't have an environment.
I don't want any malware.
I don't want malware. So, let's see. So I highly recommend you read that guy's paper. It was really informing for me. It gave me kind of some new insight on some new techniques that don't require SET. Because SET really is, it's more of an attack. I mean, you're sending a link, you're actually giving away, it's intelligence, where this is all passive, it's completely invisible to you as a company. So the other tool I mentioned was Maltego. And basically, if you've seen Maltego, it paints out a picture of, you can seed it with an email address or a company domain or an IP address, and it will just spit out a plethora of information about that company. You can drill down in and actually look at who emailed who. I mean, I've come up with freaky stuff that was sent out in the clear and had no idea that you could gather this information. So, another picture, even building the chart out even further. Oh, you guys didn't see that. Can you see that one now? Yeah. So, I mean, there's a whole infrastructure. You can bubble it out, you can zoom in on anything you want to focus into, like if you see a key business partner or somebody, you're basically just building information to do this. I'm going to make a phone call. I'm going to ask somebody for some information. Hi, I'm a social engineer. And she's happy to help, so she sends that information that you ask for, and it can be anything. You know, what they're doing, you make up any story, be creative, because you've got a whole hell of a lot of information now about this person. So they're going to be convinced that you are who they say they are. Another thing that Shaw said was that he created a Facebook page, copied all the guy's pictures from all his friends, and then invited all his friends to join his page. So now he's got direct communication with what everybody thinks is him. And he's talking left and right, yeah, I hate my company, this sucks, I hate my job, blah, blah, blah. It's really a cool story. So anyway, moving on. This is what we passed the reconnaissance because now we got enough information, clearly. I know the full infrastructure, I know all the tools you have, how many resources, just how swamped you are. I can send phishing attacks that aren't even phishing attacks. I can just spam the whole company and set up a site and actually sit back and watch how many people click the link. And it has no payload, there's no exploit, no harm, no foul. And it gets right past your email firewalls because I'm getting a low score. I've got a legitimate domain in the US. I've got maybe a few targets the first time, maybe even one. And then I start working my way up. These are things that you can detect. You need to start collecting this information. Who's sending these emails, who's getting them, how often, but you're building a database. And that's for the defensive side. This is how you're going to start looking for the reconnaissance phase that you couldn't, everybody says you can't detect. So we're building a weapon here, and for this case, we found out that they're running Adobe, I even know what version. They've got IE Explorer version 6, because they got old ass app, oh damn beep, old apps that can't run in the newer IE versions. You can't patch. So what do? Nothing. Because corporate culture won't let you. You can't make any changes. So you're stuck with that version. You know the threat's there. You see the exploits come in. You can't patch. Also found out they're running Mozilla. So there's another browser. Key thing that's funny about these browsers, when you open them up, the first thing they do is look for an update. You're running an old version. Pop up a screen, would you like to update your browser? Hell yeah. So they click it, right? So what am I going to send you? Something like that maybe? Ettercat. I'm going to infect that first host with anything that's going to intercept an Adobe update or a browser update, and I'm going to send them a real update that they didn't want. So to add even another level to this, let's say that we can embed this in a video card. Yes, it's not persistent. As soon as they shut the machine down, you know, the vulnerability is gone. But how long does it take you to actually get to an infected machine, re-image it, or you clean it, right? I ran Malwarebytes. It was fine. I didn't find any malware on this. The machine's clean. We can't reformat it. There's too much critical information because, you know, I picked a high-profile target, of course. And so, you know, the machine's fine. Everybody's happy, right? I think I'm getting ahead of my slides. So, yeah, there's the delivery. Obviously, I picked my exploit. So, victim takes the bait. And again, maybe whether it's GCC, you know, GPU embedded or it's actually on the client itself, and you may or may not have any endpoint security. The fact that I sent a legitimate email from a legitimate source, I'm not spoofing anything. It's going to get through your email filters. I don't want to name products, but you know where I'm getting at. You may or may not agree with me. It doesn't matter, I'm here and everybody's listening, so. Here's the expected response. It's all clean. And so, you know, she's happy, it's all clean. And that could be a he, I'm not gender specific here. There's just as many dumbass guys as yeah. Pete, thank you. I'm gonna have to edit this video, I can tell. Alright, so now I'm inside the organization. I've got my malware, it's running, I've infected my first computer. What is the first rule when you root a computer using Metasploit? Anyone? Even better than that. You've got shell already. But what do you want to do? Because you know you're going to be detected, right? The tools are going to see that I penetrated this machine, I've exploited, I've run an exploit, and your radar's going up, you guys are running like crazy to find out where this machine is. What am I going to do? No, jump host. I'm going to get off this machine. I want to survive.
Persistence.
Well, persistence. Okay, thank you. You're right. I want to be persistent. So I'm going to jump to another host. Well, what if this actual payload is using a BitTorrent type technology? So every host that I jump to, minus the first one, because we cleaned it, it's okay now, right? We're safe. That threat was mitigated. We're done. But every PC that I move to, from jump to jump, using that same that dumb browser update, they click on it. I got another machine, and another machine, and another machine. Well, the first machine becomes what's called the master, and everything else becomes a slave. So now, while I'm not only looking for data and I'm harvesting information off each PC that I've infected, I'm also setting up communication laterally. So again, you've got this big stone wall, this perimeter around your organization, and I'm already inside. So are you seeing the lateral movement? I'm still, you may or may not detect this. But what I'm building is a communication. I'm building a little BitTorrent client that I can use to exfiltrate your data once I find it and get that information through every PC. What's that called? BitTorrent? So I've actually got multiple communication. I've scrambled the data. And if you look at one screen, it's HTTP, it's meaningless. It looks like garbage. Anybody seen these in your organization? Just garbage HTTP that actually has nothing in it? You're like, they jacked up their malware or something. I don't know, it's some screwed up link. But I mean, in fact, you put all those back together at the endpoint or endpoints, and then it gets reassembled, I've got your data exfiltrated. So I mean, it's hypothetical. It's something to think about. It's something that actually, looking at payloads, looking at strings, we're seeing this stuff. So we know it's out there. I mean, it's like saying that no one can do MD5 collisions. Well, we proved that wrong, And MD5s are the end all. I mean, I've stopped that MD5. We're blocking that hash. We're safe, right? So it's just something to think about when you look in your organization internally. Because there's so much emphasis on tools, on your perimeter, and you're so involved, your analyst, your high-tech analyst, your key components of your organization are looking at so many tools and so many indicators, they're not even looking inside their own door. So what do you end up with? You end up with a huge stone wall on an island, and the rats are eating your food. So let's go to the next slide. And there we have it. Whatever their objective was, whether it's to destroy power, take out infrastructure, do terrorism, or it's just, a crime or a group wanting to take credit that, hey, I owned you, boom, there's all your crap. That's it, right? Game over. It's done. And anybody see the obfuscation in that slide? I don't know if you can see it or not. If you get up close to it, you're beat. But look inside it again. There's actually some obfuscation. I had a prize, but it didn't come through. It didn't work out. But we'll move on. It says something else, but it was a joke that didn't pay off. So I'm going to actually now, I know there's controversy about the term cyber kill chain. I learned it from Lockheed Martin and actually worked with Lockheed Martin to talk about it. For the last 2 to 3 years, I've actually been using this framework, and being a military guy, I kind of dig it. So it's a great collaboration tool for your organization to actually track all this activity that you're seeing that we just talked about and start building incidents to cases to campaigns. Now I know that I get a better picture of, hey, I saw that IP, but it was an email scan, it was harmless, but we saw that a month ago. And now we're seeing it again, but at a greater scale. Now we can make a case. This might be something bigger. Maybe we need to actually do some forensics on this. Take that, instead of just cleaning this machine or re-imaging it, totally erasing all the evidence of everything I did, actually pull a memory forensics scan or an image and look at it. Tools like volatility. Anybody use volatility in here? Great tool. Do you have time to use it for every single infection? Hell, no. But we'd love to. I mean, I would love to know all the stuff that's getting in our network. The whole concept behind the kill chain, cyber kill chain, Navy find, fix, track, targeting, engaged. I'm not going to read these slides. You guys have heard of it. I know everybody hears it. Well, I just really moved along here. 7 stages, recon, we've said these terms, it's not new. Weaponization, delivery, exploit, installation, command and control, action on objectives. When we do the memory forensics, what are we looking for? Action on objectives. What was this thing trying to do? And I think that's the piece that most of us are missing right now. What was the intent? So, got a nice little animation of that whole process. I think it's pretty cool. Click. I like this. And there goes your data. There goes all your bleep. And we're bleeped. So, you know, I've worked for a lot of different organizations in banking, financial, medical. I mean, it's serious. Critical infrastructure, power utility. I don't want to be without power. I damn sure got to have my water.
Dams is what worries me.
Should I beep that? Yeah, dams, jails. I mean, criminals. We're criminals. We're already on the loose. But you know, the key thing is that it's a greater thing than just your mom and pop's company or your bank and some credit cards. There's people out there, and we already know, that want to do harm, and I think we're missing it. Let's see if I have any notes on this. So with the recon, I can't even read these slides anymore.
Don't feel bad, we can't either.
You guys can't see it?
I can.
See the little teeny tiny stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with the resolution, but this really got ugly. I'll just read my key points. Reconnaissance, everybody says it's hard to detect. Some of it is, some of it's not. If you're tracking some of these non-malicious emails and just actually creating a ticket, some type of a database, Excel spreadsheet, hell, I don't care what you're using, but create a tool that you can actually start gathering this information and say, I saw this before. Or the tool tells you, I saw this before. I saw that IP address, I saw that ASN. It could be something. Add some fidelity to what you're seeing. These slides are all going to be better. That one looks a little better, doesn't it? Okay.
Yeah.
Weaponization, again, I've already reconned, I've got your entire word chart. Hell, I know your company better than you do. I mean, I know what their family's doing, I know where barbecues are, I know where their kids go to school, what time they pick them up, because they told me. You know? I'm a good social engineer. I'm a bad comedian, but I'm a damn good social engineer. People like to talk to me. And they'll give, that just squeaked, didn't I? Talk. And they tell me stuff, because they trust me. You guys trust me, right? I hope not. Ask the guys at the party last night. We were going into we had borders.
I talked you to get your ears.
You did, and it hurt. I woke up this morning, I'm like, ow, what the, oh, that's right. God, I'm gonna kill you. Thanks, I appreciate it. So, here's another one I can't even read. The delivery. Again, I'm going to pick whatever delivery I find that I know is going to get through your perimeter. Have you ever heard that? The tool, your tool, tools, where you got this tool that you've been relying on. It's been blocking Red Hook Black Hole Toolkit flawlessly for months, right? All of a sudden, Black Hole Toolkit starts popping up all over the place. And you're like, what the heck? We paid $2 million for this tool, right? Now it's all set in our environment. Who do you call? Goddamn vendor. Hey, dude, we've got this in our network. What's going on? Oh, we know. Send us a PCAP. We'll analyze that data. We'll get back to you. Week later, you hear back, and they're like, yeah, we found the problem. We're working on a fix. You'll have it in a week. Dude, it's in my network now. Fix it. Vendors. I love a lot of them, trust me. I do talk hype about vendors. One I'd like to mention is SourceFire and FireAmp. Great products for endpoint security. By the way, I've not been able to beat it. With their, I fault them on the cloud. They're working on a local solution, but it is a good product.
Damn Cisco.
That's right. If Cisco screws them up, I've already lost faith in Cisco, but I will totally lose faith in SourceFire.
What about Bootcamp?
Who?
Bootcamp.
Nope. I don't know a whole lot about them. I only know what AccuVant tells me. Because they say this tool's great, and I put it in, and because my boss bought it, he said, you're going to put this in whether you like it or not. I'm like, okay, I'm going to like it. All right, I'm going to go back to Malware Must Die, because one of the things we did to start tracking some of this stuff is something we're working on right now. I'm actually working with, anybody heard of Umbrella? A couple people. Umbrella is doing something really neat. They're taking clients that feed into domains, and they do what they call co-occurrences. So if I click on, say, twitter.com, it shows me all the other sites that are clicked at the same time. So what I can start to look for is like DGA and actual patterns of DGA in the cloud. So you can actually start looking at poison ASNs, because everybody uses Amazon for their ASN, right? That's your backup? Amazon? No one? No. Well, Twitter does. And I call it the ghetto cloud. It's cheap hosting, it's easy to hide, and the thing is, you can't block it. Why? Because it hosts 10,000 frickin' domains. You can't block it. Why? Because somebody can't get to BettyCrocker.com. It's business related, corporate culture. So I've looked at this tool, and I'm thinking, and I had an epiphany. I was watching a football game and playing a little with the Apple. You can see I've learned a lot about a Mac. Thank you again. And I thought, what if they add just another step? Let's actually talk about BGP prefixes and some of the things that you guys heard about Auburn IT and the whole compromise. And you have the greatest DDoS protection in the world. God bless, Provenia. But I just dropped your whole ASN. It's gone. I'm routing it now to somewhere overseas. That's basically what happened. There are things you can do to stop that with like one-factor, two-factor authentication to actually change the domain, but it costs money per domain, so you get kind of expensive because we're greedy. But this is actually the tracking, and I can use this tool. So when I talked about creating that domain that I was using to profile you with those harmless links, just basically to see who clicked on them, there's what it looked like. One hit, one hit, one hit. She hit every single email. That is also how Flux works. They'll take a DGA or pseudo-random naming convention across a single domain. They'll create thousands, hundreds of thousands of links, and they rotate through them like a clock. Every 15 minutes, it moves. The IP will drop. They don't want to get blacklisted. Why? They want persistence too. So I thought this was a really cool tool. I just want to see it built more into our infrastructure where we can tie APIs into our threat monitoring tools to use this as another feed. Instead of buying more tools, because this buys tools that are useful. So still working on that, it's work in progress. We covered the exploit. Again, hypothetical with the CVEs, we're assuming it was a 0-day with memory card malware. Only affects NVIDIA. Haven't figured out what's the other, Radeon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't figured it out. Still working on that. Installation. We really covered a lot of this, and I dropped all my slides, so my notes are gone. But you can see from the couple points, I think we've covered a lot of that. My goal here is to get you guys on your way to a party, because I know you guys are ready to drink. But there's the benefits, I mean, that I found personally with the cyber kill chain. Again, I'm not going to read the slides, you can read them yourself, but yeah, I will, I'll read them. What the hell, I've got 37 minutes, oh my god. Provides more defensive network, but no, I'm not going to read them. All right, let's just keep going. Damn, I can't read this, it's got some really cool stuff. Can you guys see that at all? Epic fail. Hey, can you see that?
Go back to that one.
I do, I want to cover that because it's like the whole frickin' point. Can you see that?
Zoom in.
2 men?
Zoom in bottom right.
How do you zoom in on a Mac?
Bottom right.
Bottom right. Oh, dude, I found it. Thank you. You are. Wow, that's a little too zoomed there. All right, cracking SSL. It's good for looking for that C2 communication, all that information that I'm spewing out from multiple clients. I know a lot of people don't want to crack SSL because of regulatory and issues that they're having. A SIM for event correlation, critical. Again, you know, anything that you can use to combine the tools and what's being detected to make our jobs easier so we can actually bubble up and look at a machine that's been infected that we probably need to bring attention to because we never get infected. Don't take crimeware kits for face value. Just because the EK kit or the exploit kit says Sweet Orange, it's a service. It's like Black Hole Toolkit. What does everybody associate Black Hole Toolkit with? Fake AV, right? But it's a service. They can sell. It's a Christmas package. I'm going to send you a present. Click me. I'm not staring at you on purpose, by the way. I love that music, and you've. I can tell he wants to get the hell out of here, though. He's like, clock. I'm just gonna get a shut up. Collaborate. If you've got other groups in your industry, talk to them. Ask them what they're seeing, because some of the information that's being sent in intelligence is old. They're sending us DGA URLs. What the hell good was that when it was only alive for 15 minutes? None. You know, it's a lot of useless intelligence. It's cluttering up our tools. They cease to function. Our proxies are getting completely overloaded with crap. And we want some real data. So talk to your other peers, see what they're seeing, and say, hey, we're seeing it too. Might be something, might not, but at least you're talking. RSS feeds, open source intelligence, got me where I'm at, got me with Malware Must Die. I mean, basically it's just collaboration with other people that know a whole hell of a lot than I do, but I get to take some credit. So you can do the same thing. I mean, you don't have to be a malware reverse engineer. Let somebody else do the work. They've already done it, they blogged it. You know, learn to see who's legit, who's got cred, and start collecting some of that data, just plugging it into your tools. And I think I had one more. Oh, Jesus. That just went really bad.
Zoom out.
I'm on even the wrong slide. Look at that. Most of all, can't stress this enough. When that incident does happen, have a good plan. Don't look like a bunch of chickens running around saying, oh, it wasn't my tool, it wasn't my fault, I had nothing to do with this, it was him. That's his tool. You know, have a plan of how you're going to recover, figure out where your data went, what is that action on objective, what the heck happened, how do we do damage control, and how do we stop it. And that's the end of my talk, and I appreciate all you guys coming here, and I hope somebody learned something. You guys can go ahead and go. If you have a question, you can stay behind. I'd be happy to answer or talk about maybe some of Malware Must Die, but it's time to get the drink on. And love you guys. And I want to also thank DerbyCon for letting me speak this year. I appreciate it.